What's up, Entrefluencers? Welcome to the Entrefluential Life podcast. This is your host, John Tanner.
And I'm your co-host, Sebastian Tanner.
So we had to change things up. Sebastian just relocated to Port St. Lucie, Florida, so we couldn't come to you live yesterday. But here we are, and
Yep.
with a modification to our schedule again, we just keep changing things up. But we'll be back onto our regular Tuesday schedule starting next week. So anyway, we've got our lineup ready for you, and Sebastian's going to take the mic and go ahead and present his physical and mental tip of the day.
All right. So for the physical tip I have today, this one is a tip that is not only applicable to, the physical aspect, the fitness aspect, but it can be applicated to basically every aspect of your life. When it comes to business, when it comes to your mindset, everything about yourself that you need to improve, this can be applied to it. But specifically for fitness, this is build your fitness social support. So some of you might want to know what social support is. Social support is actions taken by people to assist others in achieving a specific behavior. So you want to surround yourself with the right group of people. You want to surround yourself with the people that are going to help you get better at whatever it is you're doing. Having a lack of social support can make it especially difficult for some people to participate in regular exercise. This is depending on the type of support that certain people need. Everyone's different. So some people without any support, they may not be able to overcome other barriers that's prohibiting them from exercising and staying on a regular routine and staying on track with everything that comes with it. So it's very important to surround yourself around people with the similar goals as you to make you better at what you're doing and not to distract you from making progress in right. This is specifically for the field of fitness. So you want to be surrounded by people that aren't wanting to go out to the club every single day and drink and get wasted and all of those. Every time you have any like alcohol, you're having a beer, that's 7 hours that your body is not burning fat anymore. So every drink that you have, you're having multiple beers, 7 hours on top of 7 hours on top of 7 hours for every beer that you have. Just to put it into perspective, most people don't even know that. So that's why, a lot of people, they have the beer belly and they get the beer gut because it's from all of that alcohol that you're consuming. Your body's not burning fat while you're having that alcohol. And then whatever you had during that day, you get like the munchies, you get drunk, whatever. Afterwards, you get munchies. You want to go and have some late night Taco Bell or whatever, ice cream, whatever it is. So, it all stems from, of course, you want to have that mental toughness for yourself to get yourself to the gym, to get yourself physically active. But some people just need a little bit more help than others. So that's why it's important to be surrounded by the right group of people that are going to help you get better with your fitness goals.
Well, it's true what they say, birds of a feather flock together. So
yep.
Show me who you hang with and I'll show you who you are. I'll tell you who you are.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay. Social support. So man, for physical fitness, that's everything you're saying is true. And I've experienced those things in my life. When I was a young man, I hung out with the wrong people. And even with like when I was doing things on my own, I was more driven. I had more desire to pursue my ambitions.
More fire. You had the more passion.
Yeah. Well, steadfastness is more, I think, appropriate. That was what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I was more steadfast of achieving my goals. Like I had these bigger goals. Like I wanted to get out of Cutler Ridge, South Miami Heights, and go do bigger things. And then when I came back to the block and was hanging out with the old people that I used to hang out with, then I started adopting those lazy, bad, destructive habits again. And it really affected me, man. It affected me in my military service. I ended up not completing my service. I got an other than honorable discharge. And had I not gone back into that environment, I would have been much less inclined. I would not have done it if I would have just stayed, maintained my military bearing, and I wouldn't have slacked off and gone UA. Like it really
without having the negative influence.
It really had an impact on me,
Yeah.
And I told my commanding officer after I had went UA that I had lost my military bearing, and it was really because I was hanging out with the wrong people.
Wow.
Yeah, and it took an impact. And then like, so, those kind of things, they create ripples in your life. I mean, I got another than honorable discharge. I could have gotten worse. I could have gotten a bad conduct discharge or a dishonorable discharge. Those would have been terrible. I would never have been a teacher or a real estate agent or a broker or anything like that. I would never have gone to law school probably. But so it didn't ruin me, but it could have. It was very close to ruining me. And so like, I think for our audience, if you come from a rough background and you were able to escape it, stay away from it. Don't go back to it. Like, just stay away from it. You can reconnect with people and bring them to your turf, your new territory.
Yes.
Let them visit you and the new you in the new territory. Don't go back to the old territory, and don't hang out for an extended period of time with those people, because they'll pull you back in, because misery loves company.
Yes, absolutely. It's better to have them surrounded by your new influence versus you going back and being surrounded by their influences of all the old in the past and traces of the old you that you used to be, and that's not the person that you want to be anymore. But it's easy to fall back into temptation. Like the same thing, happened to myself, and we're not going to get into all of that today. I might share a little bit of it later, but it put me down a really bad path. I started to get better, and then I started hanging around certain people that it just, when you're surrounded around the people, especially when they're your friends, and like, I think it's harder to get influenced by somebody that's not your friend. Like when you have people that are close to you that are doing the wrong thing and they're influencing you to do that, there's somebody that you like. So I feel like it's just like the one of the principles of influence that we talked about before. I don't remember exactly what it's called. But you tend to gravitate more to people that you know and that you're comfortable with. So it's like the closest ones to you can be the ones that are the most damaging for yourself. And so if you're easily influenced, like myself, I'm a people person, I'm a people pleaser. I like to make the room happy. I like to make sure everyone's having a good time. Someone's like, oh, hey, you want to have this beer? I'm like, oh yeah, definitely hand me the beer. And right now I don't need the beer. Right now I need to drop a little bit. So right now I'm cutting. I'm trying to drop some fat. So right now I need to stay away from the people that are trying to party. I need to stay away from that. And it's hard. I'm somebody that can be influenced. So what do I have to do? I have to know my weakness. And okay, let me not go around this. Let me not go to this right now. Let me not put myself in the position to want to do that, because I know I'm going to, and I will. So that's why I have to stop. And so I think it's important.
Yeah.
It goes back to the social support. I think it's just important.
Yeah.
Surrounding yourself with the right type of influence, because it's so easy to just fall back and to go to something that's comfortable.
Yeah. Yep. It really takes a lot of strength, inner strength, to shut the door on who you are right now to become who you want to be tomorrow.
Yes.
And the path of least resistance says, no, it's too hard.
Yeah.
And the reptilian brain doesn't like challenges. The reptilian brain says, maintain the status quo.
Yep.
But your higher thinking self says that's going to get you nowhere. And are you willing to make the sacrifice to become the new you, the you 2.0, Martha 2.0?
Oh my God, from Good Witch?
Yeah, Martha 2.0.
That.
So like, how are you going to become the you 2.0? Are you willing to make the sacrifice? And there is no reward without payment. No reward in life without payment. I don't care what it is. You pick a topic, any category, and I will tell you, I'll find you where the payment is, because you won't see it maybe initially, but there is a payment involved for everything.
Exactly.
And so once you figure out what you're trying to accomplish, you're going to see what sacrifices are. That's the payment. Those sacrifices that you have to make is the payment. And then then it's mindset. Are you willing to stay to this course? You know what? You lay out the course, and then are you willing to stay the course? Perseverance, right? That's where the perseverance
That's the hardest.
comes in.
That's like one of the hardest parts, is actually staying consistent with it.
And then that's where your tip of the day comes in, like your social support. Okay, so I know that
that's what
I'm going through is mentally challenging. It's going to be physically challenging, but it's also mentally challenging. Where am I going to get the support to back me up on my weekdays? Because I know I'm going to have it. I'm strong right now. Mind strong. I'm like an army of one. But there's going to be days where I'm broken and I need my social support. And that's where your tip of the day comes in. Great. So find that new group of people, that even if it's one person, Find
Exactly.
that new crew, a new crew to be your social support when you need a pick me up.
Yep, exactly.
That's awesome.
Yep. That's exactly what
Preach.
it's for. Because you can't always, yeah, seriously, because you can't always, sometimes it's hard to always have that motivation. Like you can be the army of one, like you said, all day long, and then there's going to come that one day
Yep.
where you're going
You
to
need
feel
help.
the hard time. You're going to feel the insecurity or the doubt or whatever it is.
Whatever that illness is, whatever that
Exactly.
victim is, right? Like,
Yep.
yeah, you know, the devil likes to attack us, man. When especially when you're doing good, especially when you're doing something really good for yourself and for your family.
Exactly.
That's when he attacks you. Because when you're fucking up, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have used that bad word, but when you're making mistakes, the devil leaves you alone. He's like, he's on the way to hell. You know, he's on the path to destruction. You know, I don't have to do anything. Let him go. But when you start changing and start doing things the right way for yourself and for your family, that's when he steps in and starts attacking and throws things at you. And then the mind, you know, it's like the demons talking and saying stuff to you in your mind. And you need your angels, you need your good people to give you that positive word. And sometimes, you know, that's how God works. I feel like he'll put a person, you think that that person's an angel, maybe that person is being influenced by an angel to do something for you, right? Like an outside force, because he puts people in your pathway. God will put people in your pathway that lift you up and encourage you and are the right person that you need at the right time. The devil's trying to do the same thing too. He's trying to bring people in, which is
At the
why you
wrong
need,
time.
you know, he'll bring people in to hurt you. And so that's why you need to have like a hedge of protection and keep those people out of your circle. If they try to step in, you've got to brush them off, and keep them out of your inner circle, because if they're in your inner circle, they're going to influence you. If you keep them in your outer circle, right, then you can listen to what they have to say with a grain of salt. You know, like, oh, they're still thinking that I'm the old John, or I'm the old Sebastian, or but now I'm me 2.0. So I'm gonna listen to what it's not applicable. And oftentimes, if you bring them into your circle, they're not going to be comfortable there. They're going to see the new you, and they're going to see the people that you hang out with, and they're going to say, wow, this is totally, man, you've changed a lot. You know, this is not who you used to be. And I don't feel comfortable. They won't say this, but they'll be thinking, I don't feel comfortable in this environment. And they'll want to leave. Whatever their excuse is, they'll want to leave because they haven't made a commitment yet to make those changes.
Exactly.
You know, and down the road, through consistency, hopefully they will. Hopefully through consistency, you being consistent, persistent, then they will say, you know what? Wow, he's really doing so much better in his life. Look at Sebastian. He's rocking it, man. He's successful. He's positive. He's got great things going for him. And the accolades keep stacking up. You look backwards, and as time progresses, you look back and you're like, I've got all these major accomplishments, these achievements, because I've been living the right path, right? Like, just if you took just like if you live the book of Proverbs, right? All of the good wisdom that's in there, and you start living that life, then after 5-10 years, people are going to be like, wow, I can't believe you progressed so far in your life. And maybe they'll be influenced to mimic you.
Yep, exactly.
All right, so that, I think we covered the physical tip of the day, man. That's fantastic. Social support for physical fitness. If you want to work out and get physically fit, and you're not a part of a gym, you know, maybe you should think about joining a gym or finding some partners to go, or even take a class. Like, you know, I have I have a gym in my building, right? So I can go do my own workout and go run in the mornings like I do. Like I was up at 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning. I went running.
Nice, great.
But I've been doing this since I was 17. I started running when I was in the Army. So like, you know, it becomes part of your nature, right? But if you're getting started, like maybe you want to go take a class, a physical fitness class, or go to a gym where you can be around other people and meet a couple of friends, or hire a personal trainer.
Exactly.
Yeah. I do classes online. Like I watch classes online, right?
And you can do that too for free. Exactly.
For free. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yep, you can have those instructors there on YouTube, and you can, if you like somebody, you can pay them to be your one-on-one tutor, even remotely.
Exactly, because some people are good Some people learn better with a one-on-one instructor, or some people can just look at it online and kind of teach themselves a little bit. Because that's kind of what you're doing in a way. You have your instructors on there, but in a way you have to teach yourself how to follow along with what they're doing versus having somebody to kind of walk you through it in person.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
well, you know,
make a difference.
Mimicking, watching the videos and mimicking them will only take you so far. And then if you want to master whatever it is that you're exercising, then the one-on-one sessions will come in handy.
Especially with the knowledge that you'll get from somebody one-on-one with anything, even fitness or with whatever it
everything
is.
In life.
They have so much experience that they've been teaching for a while that they'll just share information with you, and then you can make the mind-body connection. Because once you can do some people, the problem is going through the motions too much. Like they go to the gym and they don't really make too much progress with whatever it is that they're doing. It's kind of like having the right form, you know, and having correct form when you're doing a workout. Because if you just go through the motion, then you're working the muscle, but you're only half working it. You're not really 100%. When your mind is connected, you're thinking, okay, I want to train the bicep. I'm focusing on the bicep. I'm focusing on thinking to myself, I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna make my biceps grow. Or I'm just like, you want to feel like the pump, they call it, or whatever. You just feel whatever body part it is, whatever workout, if you're running, whatever it is, when you connect your mind with the body and you're focusing your thoughts, because that's why the greatest people, they have a different mindset than the average Joe, you know, like the champions, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, any of the best people that do any of the sports, their mindset is 100% different. They're thinking like every rep that they do, everything, they're connecting the dots differently. You know, I think having that mind-body connection will take anyone to the next level, because then you can change the tempo of whatever it is you're doing versus you just going through the motions a little bit. You don't really know what you're doing. You're not really 100% focused on the workout. But when you get locked in, then you're going to make much more improvement versus just kind of going through the motion.
Yeah, and even the difference between going slow or going fast on one repetition makes a big difference on how it works out your muscle. So like having a roadmap established for you, it's good to check in, and then things change, right? Your body just changing, and your routine is going to need to change. So you need to check in again with your mentor, your coach, your personal trainer, and get a new update. Like, okay, this has been working for you from January to March. Now let's shift it over and start doing it this way from March to May.
Exactly.
Right? So that
you switch the routines up.
Right. So that you're growing.
Exactly. Because we all hit a plateau. You know, even once you start getting better and you become more experienced in whatever it is you're doing, you're more comfortable with the form, anything, you can do a bench press or whatever, or a squat, any workout that you're doing, eventually you're going to come to a point where you're going to plateau at that. And you're like, okay, I'm not making an improvement, or I'm doing the same repetitions, or, you know, the same thing every time. So then you got to
shock the body,
switch things around. You got to shock, like Arnold Schwarzenegger said, you got to shock the muscle and start doing something completely different. They make a lot of jokes about it now, but I think it genuinely helps. You know, you got to switch things around a little bit, because sometimes you just get too used to it too. You know, some people need the variety. Some people don't need the variety, and they like to do a certain thing every single time.
Right.
But that's why everyone's different.
The mindset comes in there too, right? It's not just physical. It's not just the calisthenics or whatever technique you're doing, but it's also mindset too. And you've got to grow. And if you're stuck and you think that you don't want to change, you can find good rationale through a mentor.
That's when someone can help you. Exactly.
They're coaching you.
Along with the knowledge.
They're coaching you, your mind and your body.
Yes, because exactly. It's the mind and the body, you know, together as one. You can't just have it, you know, separate. I think like the best of the best, they know that the mind and the body have to be connected.
In harmony.
In harmony, exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
That's kind of like I think with in the Matrix movie,
or level up, right?
Exactly.
It's like in a video game, you know, you've maxed out level 1, you got to go to level 2.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
Yep.
So the coach will get you there.
Exactly.
All right, cool. So I think we're
good on that,
I think we're good on covering physical tip of the day. What do you got for your mindset tip of the day?
So the mindset tip of the day is positive affirmations by Tom Hopkins. So he calls it his morning mental workout. So something, some people wake up every single day, they do 20 push-ups or whatever, they go run a mile, anything. This is something to add to your morning routine. It's a little workout for the brain, for the in a way, I think for the subconscious, right? Because it's the affirmations, you're reprogramming
That's right.
your mind. So exactly. So this is how it goes. I will win. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I have faith, courage, and enthusiasm. Today, I will meet the right people in the right place at the right time for the betterment of all. I see opportunity in every challenge. I'm terrific at remembering names and faces. When I fail, I only look at what I did right.
Beautiful.
So I like it. I like that one a lot. I think it's good to do. I've never really done too much of like a mental workout in the morning, like part of my routine. So I think something like this is great for doing that daily.
Positive affirmation.
To change the thought process.
So
start thinking better.
In the book, but the official guide to success by Tom Hopkins, he says that you should practice these positive affirmations 3 times a day for 28 days straight.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of his positive affirmations. So for our audience, we recommend that you listen to that, write it down, and then repeat it every morning, 3 times every morning for 28 days. Or if you want, you could do it once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and once at night before you go to bed for 28 days. But do it 3 times a day for 28 days.
Yeah, that's great. And it takes about a month to build a habit, right?
Yeah. So after 28 days, it gets recorded in your subconscious mind and you start living it automatically.
Wow, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to do it 28 days.
It's pretty awesome. All right, put it on the calendar.
Yeah, that's great.
That's awesome, man. All right, so for the spiritual tip of the day, I have a reading again from Living the 66 Books of the Bible by Dr. David Jeremiah. So this is going to be like storytelling in school. And so you guys get to be the children in the elementary school class. I'm the teacher. I'll be the teacher. And I'm going to read to you guys. Come on, it's storytelling time. Thank you, Mr. Tanner.
Put the soft music in the background.
Okay, so we're reading from the book of Exodus. Okay. This is just 2 pages, just one. Look at this. See, look, a big letter there. Wow. And 2. This is what we're going to read. That's what we're reading today. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So this is a summary of Exodus. Exodus is an epic story of God's mighty deliverance in breaking the power of ancient Egypt. He rebuked its gods, thwarted its pharaoh, and delivered his people. As the book opens, the nation of Israel, descendants of Abraham, are enslaved in Egypt. God sent Moses with a message to Pharaoh. Thus says the Lord God of Israel, let my people go. Exodus 5:1. The Lord also sent a series of plagues to ravage Egypt. Then he delivered his people through the parted waters of the Red Sea in chapter 14. At Mount Sinai, he told them how to live. The last part of the book describes the tabernacle where the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle, and he dwelt among his people. Just like the Israelites, each of us has problems we cannot solve in our own strength or by our own resources. We need the God of Israel. He tells us to give him our fears and to receive his strengthening grace. He alone can part the waters and do things that are impossible for us. You can trust him with any Pharaoh-sized problem you have. Turn the Red Sea experience you are facing over to him by faith and then be still. Trust him, wait on him, and see what he will do. Remember, he wants your obedience, and he also longs to dwell within you and around you. As he hovered above the children of Israel as a cloud by day and fire by night, so he will hover over you all the days of your life. Be aware of his presence and power. Key theme. Just as God delivered his people from slavery to freedom, he is present in your life today, leading, delivering, and providing for your needs. God is with you. Key challenge. Thank God for his presence and protection every day, giving your concerns, whether great or small, into his loving care. Key verse. Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. Exodus 14:13. Key prayer. Lord, thank you for the assurance that you are with me in my time of trouble. Strengthen me to stand firm and wait patiently as I wait for your deliverance. So that's the reading for the day. And I think, as I'm reading this, I'm thinking, boy, I remember so like I grew up as a Christian, but I completely walked away from the church when I was about 19, 20 years old, and lived a very wayward, secular, hedonistic life. All right. A lot of in and out of a lot of relationships and just doing whatever I wanted to do to please myself. It was all about self-gratification, self-pleasure. And so when I finally came all into, decided to go all in with being a Christian and trusting God 100% with everything in my life, my life radically changed. And it was really, really tough the first couple of years. I quit drinking. I had done drugs. I quit touching drugs. I haven't touched drugs since 2007. So it's been a long time, right? 15 years. I haven't touched it. I don't like any of it. I stay away from all of it. The only thing I do is after 2 years of being sober, now I drink alcohol on occasion. No big deal.
Yeah.
Nothing like before. Nothing like one time I went out the night before Thanksgiving and I got drunk and I was starting to drive home, but I realized I couldn't drive home. I was so drunk. I pulled into a Denny's parking lot and some guy came and knocked on my window to wake me up because I was going to hyperventilate in the car. It was so hot. And and when I woke up, I realized I had thrown up all on the side of the car. It was really disgusting.
No.
And I went home and I had to spend Thanksgiving Day with the worst hangover ever. And I was like, what, this is it. This is absolutely ridiculous. And that was just shortly before I made my transition and quit alcohol for 2 years.
Wow.
But I say all of that to say that when I first, around October of 2007, when I went all in to trust God with my life and give him my heart completely and obey his, take on his likeness, right? To be a Christian, to walk like, not exactly like Jesus, but to walk as close as possible to his rules, before that, I did whatever I wanted to do, but I loved God, but I doubted, I really doubted if he existed, he's not, it's not like you can physically see him, if he wanted us to see him, we would, it's just that he's doing things differently than he did 2,000 years ago when he was here. And so you gotta put trust. And it's really, if you put your trust and you start looking for examples of his presence, I'm telling you, after doing this since 100% since 2007, you will see him everywhere. You will see his presence. His presence is everywhere. It's inside of us. It's outside of us. But it takes you committing 100% at first before you start seeing the signs. If you don't commit 100% and start reading his word, reading the Bible, and start diving in and thinking, contemplating, writing everything. I started journaling and I started writing down all my problems. And I said, God, here's my problems. Here's my prayers. And every day I would journal, and I would start seeing the answers. I started seeing his answers to my prayers. And it didn't always come the way exactly what I wanted, but it came. It came in ways that were better than what I was asking for. And so I have journals where if I go back and show you the journals, you'd be like, wow, I can't believe how he acted and answered these prayers in your life. And we're called to do that. As you become a Christian, we're called to journal our challenges, because the Bible even says that we have these forgetful minds. When we have a good thing happen to us, we forget that the good thing happened to us, But if you journal it, then it's like a road sign. You can go back and look at it and it tells you what direction you're heading,
Right. Yep. That's good.
Yeah, man. And so when you and it's just so much positive energy, man. Like when you start living this life, people look at you differently. You connect with other people. I come across Christians all the time and they read the vibe off of me because we read off each other. You know what I mean? The positive energy. And then sometimes you come across evil people and you're like, they read you too, man. They look at you with an evil eye. You're like, hey man, you're the one who's got the problem, you know.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for you. I'm praying for you. I hope you change, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking these thoughts in my mind, and like, okay, I got to get away from you because you're a dangerous person. Because when you're
Yeah.
living that life, you're dangerous to yourself and you're dangerous to everyone around you, you know.
Yep.
And eventually, you that's one of the other things. Like people who walk a wayward life, like a secular life, who don't put their faith in God, they end up getting in these situations. Like, but if God is real, how come He didn't protect me from getting raped? Why did you put yourself in that situation to get raped? Why are you
Yeah.
drinking? I've had, like, when I've done Uber, I've had girls. I had one girl fall out of my car when she was getting out of the car because she was so drunk. If you're going to a
Wow.
nightclub or a house party and you're getting drunk like that, you're putting yourself in a position to be raped. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't drink so much where you can't control yourself, you know.
Yep.
So you know, okay, don't put yourself in that position. Now you have your protection that you're asking for. Like, you want to ask God to protect you, don't put yourself in that position and you'll have the protection that you're asking for, right?
Exactly.
Flip the script, you know, like look at
Yep.
things from a different perspective, you know. He gives us the
Yeah.
wisdom. Do we take it, right? Like, anyway,
Exactly.
so like I think this is like this deliverance from slavery, right? From Egypt is symbolic because everything that happened in the past 2,000 years ago or further is what's it called, a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
They're cautionary tales for what you should not do in your present life, right? So and the slavery today is not the slavery of Pharaoh, but the slavery is to your sins,
Yeah.
to your bad habits. So like, you
Yep.
know, oh, you're gonna go chase you're gonna go chase drugs, right? You want to, oh, you want to go get high on methamphetamines, right?
Right.
Well, you're taking the risk that there's gonna be fentanyl,
Yep.
and one dose. Oh, you want to go buy some bad weed on the street that's laced with fentanyl, and then you light it up, and then the next thing you know, if 911 doesn't get to you and give you some kind of a dose to wake you up, you're dead.
Exactly.
You know, so like your
All it
slavery.
takes is I think one serving
Mm-hmm,
of like fentanyl is a lethal
mm-hmm.
dose already.
One lethal
Like,
dose, and you're done. You're done.
yep.
And
And
so
it's so small. The lethal dose, if you look it up, like
tiny.
it's almost scary to think about
Oh,
that because it's so minuscule, it's so tiny. It's like you wouldn't even notice that it was there.
yeah, it's tragic, man.
And you
It's
can die.
really,
People,
and they're every day somebody's dying, and
they're
it doesn't
dying off of
affect.
it. Yeah.
It's not just poor people, man. It's like wealthy people that get affected by it too, and
Yeah.
even the actor Michael Keaton, you know, the guy who played Batman way back in the
Yeah.
90s, he lost a nephew from
Wow.
fentanyl. Yeah, from overdosing
No
on drugs.
way.
One of my neighbors, her son here where I live. I'm not going to say where, you know, but
Yeah.
he died. He had an overdose just last week, and so yeah,
Wow.
it's tragic, man. It's everywhere. So anyway, free yourself from those bondages, guys.
Yep.
That's what we're called to do, and God helps you do that by having a relationship with Him. So, all right, cool. So, thank you for indulging me in my storytelling. I think the Book of Exodus is really symbolic of how we can be free, and we
Yes.
have the choice today, right? Of if, do you want to live a better lifestyle with rules that are helpful, not hurtful? Because you know we look at rules and we're like, ew, I gotta follow these rules. Some rules
Yeah.
are good. Some rules are good for you. Okay, we need rules. If everybody was able to just get on the highway and go whatever speed they wanted to go, there'd be a lot more car accidents than there are now. Okay,
Yeah.
we have those rules in
Exactly.
place for a reason, you know. So
Yeah.
you know, God's rules here are not to hurt you, but they're to help you. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
And so those commandments, when He came down and gave the 10 Commandments in the Book of Exodus to His people, right? Thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not cheat, thou shalt not steal, don't kill, right?
Yeah.
Don't covet your neighbor's wife. Would you want somebody coveting your wife?
Yeah.
Of
Exactly.
course not, right? So don't do that to other
Yeah.
people, right? Don't stare at somebody else with lust, you know, right?
Yeah.
Don't commit sexual immorality. Get married, you know, stay
Yeah.
committed to one person because then you're taking a risk of hurting yourself and the other person, right?
Yeah.
Love triangles happen where you know somebody goes and has an affair, then somebody's killing somebody because they got pissed off
Yeah.
because they slept with another
Exactly.
person, right? So
Yeah.
don't go do that. You know, be respectful to yourself and be respectful to your spouse. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean, look, we have an opportunity to be a witness and to have someone else be a witness of our life as well, and to
Yep.
share and engage in conversation about what we experience in life with another
Yeah.
human being that's saying, you know what, I know there's a whole lot of other options out there, but I really love your style. I love who you
Yep.
are. And I'm willing to make this commitment with you to be your witness for the rest of your life. And I'll be there when you're sick, and I'll take care of you, and vice versa. I expect the same thing too. And you will never be alone. You'll always have someone you can
Yeah.
confide in, which is hard to do.
Yep.
It's really hard to find somebody that you can confide in 100%. And
Yeah.
maybe they'll get upset with you a little bit here and there, but they're not going to leave you because you say you have a thought or you did something. They're gonna commit with you to stay with you thick and thin. You know,
Exactly.
and too many people don't make that commitment. They're like, oh, well, you hurt me, you did something wrong, and I didn't like it, so I'm going to go shop for a new spouse. Like if you're
Yep.
changing your clothes or you're changing your car, you know what I mean, or changing your job. There's no stick to itiveness today like there was in the past. It's getting worse, and that's how
Yeah.
the devil attacks the family. He destroys the families, and if you don't have family values, if you don't have somebody like what we're talking about, like to be committed with, then you're just going to continue to be hurt over and
Exactly.
over and over again by new people. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So pick one person and do your best to be right by them, and they'll do the same thing for you too.
Yeah.
And it's a whole lot easier to follow that pathway when those people, when you both parties are committed to honoring God. Because think about this, and I think this is one of the things that's really messed up in our society today, and it's really plaguing our school systems. And here's what it is: taking God out of the equation, right? And I'm not here to preach to say that the laws that we have are better because it's more universal and it applies to everybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to make that argument, but I do believe it's true that if we have to pick either having a religion or having no religion, I'd rather you pick a religion, because having no religion is going to destroy us as a people, because people are more willing to break a rule that's made by man than they are to break a rule that's made by God, that they believe
Yeah.
will punish you if you disobey, right? I am much more afraid of God for going speeding on the highway, of what will be my consequence, right, as a punishment, because he's trying, just like you have to steer your children in the right direction. Sometimes
Right.
you have to hurt them a little bit in order to get them in the right direction, like take something away, like take the video game away because they're being disobedient, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to have tough love. And so
Yep.
like sometimes God will you know, give us a little smack and get us back on the right track, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes that smack is, you know, you lose your job. Sometimes that smack is you're going to go to jail for 24
Yep.
hours because you went and got a DUI, and maybe it's because God's trying to keep you alive, you know. And he's like, if you didn't get that DUI, maybe you would have crashed into somebody, right? So you're
Right.
upset because you got pulled over with a DUI, but maybe you would have been dead. You know what I mean? So God smacks us
Yeah.
sometimes, and we have to accept that and learn from it, right? Say, well, why did this happen to begin with? Well, I shouldn't have been drinking and driving, right? Right? So
Exactly.
like whatever it is, like whatever that problem is, like he's trying to steer us in the right direction, and we need those guidances. And so like our society, I think, will function a whole lot better if we had more Christian values, if we didn't take God out of the church, out of the school system, if we didn't take God out of our laws. I think that our society would be doing as good as it was in the past. If we look at the past, prior to these radical changes that have happened in the last 50 years, we were a beacon on the hill. America was touted as a really the best country in the world to live in, and
Yeah.
it's gone away. And I think a big part of that is because people don't have respect for each other, and respect
Right.
for our nation, and respect for our leaders. Even our leaders aren't trustworthy, right? With the bickering
Yeah.
that they do, and like you go to watch a political campaign, and they're like throwing mud at each other, verbal mud,
Yeah.
you know. And so like
Right.
what happened to the values that we used to have, the social values based on
Yeah.
Christian beliefs, is like, you know, honor, you have to be respectful and honorable to other human beings. So I think that would make
Yeah.
our society better if we had those things. But anyway, we may not be able to make a radical change to our society, but we certainly can make a change in our own life, and that's what we're here to do,
Yep.
right? We're here to help one person at a time, right, to live a
Exactly.
better quality life. So I think like abiding by some of these some of these rules is going to be beneficial to you if you apply these rules in your own life. Like, okay, let me control my environment. Let me control how I think and how I do things. Let me see if I can find a girlfriend or a boyfriend who thinks the same way as I do and has the same value system that I do, so that we can honor each other, because honor is huge, right? Like how often do you hear people talk about honor?
Yeah.
We're lacking in that department, man. You know? And we've got to honor each other. I think we really need to honor our parents, our siblings. We need to honor our spouses, right? Honor our friends, honor our community around us. So
exactly.
I think that's another component of all of the things that we talked about here, built coming out of Exodus, is like when you're starting off, when you're getting to know the Lord and you're looking at these things and you're applying it in your life, it's really all about becoming the you 2.0 is about becoming, having better social values.
Yeah.
That's like one of the first steps. The first foundational steps is change your mindset.
Yep. Absolutely.
And the hard thing is like, hey, like when you first became a Christian, when you got baptized, the first thing that happened, I guarantee, was you found temptation hit you like a freaking train coming at you.
Definitely. Like you said, with anything that you're doing good with yourself, like you're going in the right direction, the temptation always just hits you like a freight train. Like you start getting the momentum going and then you feel inspired by it. And right when you feel the most inspired, that's when the wall comes. So like you think everything's going great. You feel like everything is sunshine and rainbows. You have your affirmations every day. You wake up, I'm so grateful for today. And then it's going to come one day you wake up and you're just like, oh, F this, screw this. I'm like, I'm complaining about this. I'm complaining about that. And then you get the temptation coming in and you're like, you can use candies and cookies, or people wine and beer. Like for adults, their temptation might be like alcohol, and for kids, it's going to be, something like staying away from too many of the candies and all that stuff. It's going to come like
or
right
video
when you start,
games,
or doing too many video games. Yeah, because too much of anything is not a good thing. So once you just start switching your mode and your direction towards the right way, then the wrong way, the wrong path wants to just come. It's like a perfect timing. It's like perfect wrong timing, like perfect bad timing. Like the bad timing is perfect. It's always at the wrong time, like, so it's just like how certain things, you can meet the right people at the right time. You can also meet the wrong people at the wrong time. And so I feel like right when you're taking off and you're feeling all of the adrenaline towards your new goal, your new path, your new, like, you're just become a Christian or whatever it is, you're going to feel great at first. It feels amazing. And then all of a sudden it hits you like a freight train.
Yeah.
And then it's so easy to revert back to what you were doing before.
Yeah. Oh God. It's a downward spiral and it's fast, right? Like there's a saying, if you give the devil an inch, he takes a mile. Yeah. And it's so true. Like when you look at it, like, oh, but this little sin is okay. I'm just going to dabble with it a little bit, play with this little sin over here. And then you do that, you open the door to that little sin. And then the next thing you know, you got the whole bad habits of what you used to be back on top of you again. And you're like, I didn't intend for this. How did this happen? And then you got to start digging your way back out.
Yep. Exactly.
So that's where, like, the social support comes in with that too, with your social values as well.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So I think we bombarded that one, that tip of the day. So let me shift over and let's go to the entrepreneurship tip of the day. And so this one is called the Entrefluential Agent. And so being a real estate broker, this one is aligned towards real estate agents and how they can earn additional income from some side business while they're doing real estate sales, right? So I wrote down, you could work as a consultant, a coach, and an influencer to earn supplemental income while you're building up your real estate sales business. And so I'm just going to read from the book that I have. I have about 4 pages on this section. So here's the objective. Have you ever read the book The Millionaire Real Estate Agent by Gary Keller? That book was a valuable tool when it was first published, but the modern real estate agent needs to do more if he or she wants to potentially become a thriving agent in this tech savvy era. So this outline shows you 6 ways to earn ancillary income as a real estate professional: content creator, marketer, speaker, writer, coach, consultant, podcaster, thought leader, and influencer. By creating the most innovative modern marketing content about home design, cooking, family time, recreational activities, upcoming events in your community, entrepreneurship, and educating your audience of the benefits of real estate investing, you can serve your audience and earn more compensation at the same time. That's being an entrefluential agent. So what I have here is how you can create content, right? So you have your website, your business website for real estate, and then you also have social media. And you can be creating content such as blogs, blog posts. You can do videos. You can do e-newsletters. And you could be earning revenue for the content that you create, like on YouTube here, for instance, right?
Yeah.
By earning money through YouTube ads, through sponsorships, and through affiliate sales. So here's a for instance. Imagine if you're a real estate agent and you have an audience that you're marketing to. Let's call it your farm area. So let's say that my farm area here in Jacksonville is Queens Harbor Golf and Yacht and Country Club. All the residents in Queens Harbor, there's about 1,000 houses. If that's my farm area, then I can not only market to these people about real estate, buying and selling real estate, which is the house itself, but I can also market to that list. Once I've got that list, it's my list, right? It's my lead list. I can market to them, whether it be direct mail or newsletters or inside of their company, community newsletters. I can market to them about things that have to do with owning a home, right? Yep. So if you have a yard, what do you have to do with that yard?
You gotta mow the yard, take care of it.
Yeah. What do I need to mow the lawn? What kind of equipment do I need?
You need a lawnmower, hedge trimmer.
Yeah, weed eater, right? So let's just start with a lawnmower. What if I, as a real estate agent, I did a video about my lawnmower and why I chose my specific lawnmower for mowing my lawn, right? Yeah. Now, if I create a how-to video of doing your lawn, whatever, like using this mower and why this mower is better than the other mowers, right? I'm promoting the mower. What if I put a link in my video for people who want to buy that mower? Now I can earn affiliate commissions when they click on the link to buy the mower. You see?
Yep. And then you're making money off of your content.
And not just the mower, but then I could do a follow-up video on the weed eater, the edger, the blower to get the grass off the sidewalk.
Exactly.
All of those things that you can think about just for gardening. How about gardening? Seasonal, perennials, right? Annuals. Gardening, putting decorations in your yard for Christmas, for spring, Easter, So then you have all of those items that go along with how do you decorate your home? What's trending in 2022 for Christmas decorations for your front yard?
Yeah. That's great.
All of the things that you think about that you're going to put that's trending right now for 2022, you put it in your description, you put affiliate links, and now you can make sales for all of those items at the end of your video.
That's perfect.
Right? So that's just one thing that you could do to generate supplemental income. You could also do lunch and learn seminars like I talked about in the last series. You could do workshops. You could talk to people that don't own a house yet, right? And invite them to a seminar, go to a hotel, rent the banquet room, and put on a seminar and present information on how do you qualify to buy a house, right? Yeah. You could bring in guest speakers to talk about financing. How do you get a mortgage to get your house? If you're dealing with bad credit, you can have a credit repair specialist come and talk about that too, right? These are all additional ways to bring people in, to add them to your sphere of influence, to get sales, to earn affiliate income as well, because you're promoting these other products and services, and you can earn revenue off of that. You can sell tickets to certain events, right? You could earn sponsorship dollars. So like, let's say if I have this whole group of people, they're coming in to learn how to buy a house. What, like we talked about before, what if I was to get, I don't know, this company, Kirkland's, to provide us with the water bottles and have their brand name, Kirkland's on the top, right? I could get them to promote and provide me money for sponsoring their brand and all of my marketing content.
Yeah.
So that's another way for you to earn additional revenue. Then you could do a show like us, like how we have our podcast.
Yep.
If you're a real estate agent, you could have a podcast that talks about living in Jacksonville, Florida, right?
Yeah.
You could talk about real estate investing. You could talk about anything that has to do with home ownership. You could talk about contemporary trends and home decor. That changes all the time. Home decor changes all the time. You think people stay with the same stuff in their house their whole 20, 30 years of living in the house? No, they change all the time. Seasonally, they change.
Yep.
And so you could have a show talking where you invite interior decorators to talk about home decor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's some of the things that you could do. You could host your own content. Then not only can you host your own content like what we're doing with the Entrefluential Life podcast, but you can go on tour and speak at other people's podcasts, right? And be a guest and be on stage when they have these summits. You can be a guest speaker. And so you need to get out there, reach out, attend these events where you learn about these podcasts and stuff. There was one today. I didn't get to make it because I was out working, but there was a podcast event summit today where podcasters and podcast guests mingle and find people to bring onto their shows.
Wow.
So, yeah. And it happens every week. There's 2 or 3 of these a week I get invites to.
Wow.
So yeah. So there's just so many things that you can do. Besides that, there's books that you could write. You can self-publish. You go to kdp.amazon.com and self-publish your own book, and that is getting your content out there. Okay.
Yep.
And then you also have the coaching and the coaching and consulting. Think about the people, like if you've been in your whatever your industry is, like your personal training. Let's say Sebastian 2.0 is getting ready to become Sebastian 3.0. He's been doing the personal training. He's not like he was at Sebastian 1.0. He's elevated up to this level here. Now your next level is I'm going to start coaching coaches, right? Like you're a personal trainer, you got all your personal trainer clients, but now you're start coaching coaches to become personal trainers too. You become the instructor of the new personal trainers, the new coaches. So that's your next level up, right? So you could create courses that teach personal trainers how to become personal trainers, right? You could do bring other personal trainers that specialize in certain niche areas, right? And do a summit. Like, you specifically work with women who have baby or are about to have a baby. That's a specific niche of a personal trainer, right? You bring them to the summit. Some personal trainers work just exclusively with women, right? Of a certain age group. Bring them in. Another personal trainer who works with just men, and they have a certain age group that they work with too, right? Men who are athletes, right? Men who are senior citizens that are aging, right? And so there's all these different things. So you could bring in trainers that specialize in those areas and say, okay, guys, you want to be you're brand new to this business. You want to become a personal trainer. Here's all these different niches that we have. Come to our summit and learn from each one of these people what their business is like, so you can figure out where you fit in for your future business. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's another thing that you can do. And then of course there's always one-on-one, right? So you find somebody who's looking for a mentor, and you become their mentor. Now you become a one-on-one coach, and you can guide them in their career path. Because if wherever you are, 2-3 steps ahead of them, 4 steps ahead of them, they're on step 1. So you can teach them all of the stuff that you have learned up to that point. So everybody could be a coach. Once you got you got your teeth cut a little bit. And that's it. So that's what I talk about in this section of the Entrefluential Agent. It's about how to do all those different activities to generate additional income and expand yourself. The whole time you're building your sphere even bigger and bigger, because you start off with your farm area, but by doing all these activities, you connect broader and broader with all these other people, and your market shifts and changes and grows. And then you can start filling in, like, okay, I'm going to be a team leader and I'm going to put other people to help. So your audience grows so big, you have to hire help. You can't do it all.
Exactly.
But to get started, you got to put yourself out there, you know. And we could do a whole nother series about overcoming your fear of getting out there, because that's a big deal that stops a whole lot of people.
Exactly. Yeah, it does.
That's all I got today, man. That was the Entrefluential tip of the day.
All right. That was great.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great excerpt from your book. That was
Thank
really
you.
good.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, this book is available for free. I'm only going to include it in the Udemy course that I haven't finished recording yet, and so it's not yet available. But when it is, I'll put a link in this show. I'll come back and put links in all of these shows that I do.
Yeah.
The excerpt of each module, so that people can click on it and subscribe to the course. The course will be
Perfect.
for free, and they'll have access to the book, the ebook.
Great.
All right, guys. So that's it. Do you have anything else, Sebastian?
No, I think that's it. I think that wraps everything up.
Very cool, because we're like already right there at the hour, man. I really enjoyed it. This was fun.
Yeah, it was. It was a good episode.
Outstanding, man. So as we always say when we're wrapping up, man, go out there, Entrefluencers, and amplify your message.
Amplify the message, yup.
Yep, because
Amplify the message and
if they don't
spread your
know
influence.
exactly, because if they don't know who you are, they can't do business with you. So you got to get your message out there.
Yup, exactly.
And that's it.
All right.
All right, guys. We will see you next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. I'm sorry, my guitar string is still popped. I haven't changed them yet, so we have to work on that. We have to. I was thinking what we should do is we should find. We're still gonna get you a guitar. We're gonna.
Yeah.
We're gonna pick. I'm gonna pick one song, one Christian song next week, and I'm gonna work on it all week from now until then. And then when I come on, when we do this next week, I'll start teaching our audience how to play that one song. As we learn,
great. Okay.
Yeah, as we learn, they can learn it too.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, very cool.
Great idea.
All right, guys. Y'all take care. God bless you all. Love you guys.
All right. Good night.
Amplify your message.
Amplify the message. Spread the influence.
Woo! Bye, Entrefluencers. Bye, you guys.
Bye, you guys.
Bye. See you next week.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.